me? Why did you even allow me to be born? And boy, I could have been sleeping with kings. He said to God, you made a mistake when you allowed my mother to go into labor and give birth to me. I could have been sleeping now with kings had you allowed her to have a miscarriage. And God, he said, the day I call a birthday, I curse it. He said, God, even the young people who used to come to me for counsel, they are now mocking me. And people who were my friends and I used to have to help them pay the light bill. No, I have to be asking them to give me a cracker. They're giving me handouts and they're looking at me like I'm nothing. And he said, God, I'm not happy. You messed me up. And God said, well, since you feel that way, I have no trouble fixing this situation since you think I'm wrong. But before we get to how we're going to settle this, let us have a small conversation. He said, let me ask you this. Where were you when I put the skies in play? Where were you when I decided how many stars I needed to put up there? He said, let me ask you something, young fella. Pull up your pants and buckle your waist and tie your shoes and stand up like a man since you're bad. And let us talk about this. He said, I made some things called a mountain goat. Let me ask you, for how long is a mountain goat pregnant? And when does she give birth? He said, don't even answer that. Let me ask you this. Are you able to go into the wilderness and bring home a unicorn and train it and say, go plow my field? He said, don't even answer that. Let me ask you another one. Can you go down into the depth of the sea and pull out Leviathan? Can you pull out the crocodile and train him to be a pet? Can you navigate your way through his scales? He said, fellow, where were you when I created the ocean? And I said to the waves, come this far and don't come any further. Where were you when I was putting all that in place? And Job allowed God to finish. And then Job said, and I love it, Job said, all this time I have heard about you, but oh, now I know you for myself. It is not just hearing about you. I know you expose yourself to me. I know you and I declare you are sovereign. You are majesty. You are infinite. You are without beginning and you are without end. You are the beginning, the center and the end. You are God all by yourself. So let me put my hand over my mouth in case I speak more stupidity. That is the God we need to expose. So all this nonsense, half-hearted thing we go through, where we come in church and we behave like God ought to be happy because we put a little 30-minute program together and we come in and God must need to be happy because we practice the 2 songs and we come in to sing them, so God must just give us flowers and tell us thank you so much for God. No. We behave like God, like we manage God. We have made God into something we can manipulate. And so when people come in wanting to find God, all they find is pampered flesh, and we are marketing our rhetoric. All we are doing is in church clothes, letting people know that we know how to talk, and nothing is changed. But oh, there is a cry, there's a cry, there's a cry, because humanity is in desperate need. Man needs to see a God who, when he bumps into him, his flesh trembles and his knees buckle, and he bow before him and says, surely you are God, and I will silence myself in your presence. The world, we need to stop cursing and criticizing the world and the unsaved. Sinners do what sinners do. They say. Them living like devils and brute beasts does not give us the right to get superior. That is what sin does. Sin make you drink and drunk and spit upon yourself, and somebody have to come pick you up off the street, and you go home and wake up and you wash yourself, and you are so distorted by sin. By the time night come, you go back out and you do the same thing. Sin is a deceiver, and sin destroys. Sin allows you, sin rob you of your integrity, robs you of your dignity, take your future from you. Sin destroys your dreams. Sin set you up to use you and then tell you nobody wants you, you may as well kill yourself. Sin use you and then throw you away. And our job is not to sit on a pedestal of piety and go, oh, look at them. No, they are doing what some of you used to do. Let me rephrase that. What some of us, because every now and again I tend to forget that, because I didn't go running the street and doing some of the wild things people do. Sometimes I tend to forget that I yet needed Christ. And I'm the first to confess, if I didn't have a grandmother who threatened to kill me every day, chances are I would have been out there doing all the crazy things. But she made it plain. You're going to abide by what I say, or you're going to an early grave. So I chose life. And she could have pummeled me to dust. That was Jamaica. Have nobody to call. No 911 to call. She could have skinned me alive. And there's nobody to call. So she gave us fair warning. You're going to do right. She watched us like hawks. Lord, she was a tough woman. Bishop, she was tough. One of my unsaved cousins who is of age had a party at the house where we grew up. And I'm in the house, you know. And they have the thing right out in the big yard. Right out front in front of the house. It's not like next door, you know, mother. It's right where we live. And it's not a big house. It's 2 rooms and a veranda, so it's not much. It's not like upstairs and downstairs and basement. No, it's 2 little board rooms and a veranda. And right out front in the big yard, the tent and music and everything. And we couldn't come outside. We sit down in the room. Can't come outside.
You have to look through the window.
And even in the room, you have to be careful how you jig. Even though you know the songs, you can't sing them loud. You have to be careful how you jig, because she's coming around the corner to watch. And maybe God knew why she raised me. He knew why she was the one that raised me. Because when you're a young person with a rebellious spirit, that is all hell wants, to burn the world up with you. So God knew, you see, God knew that if the world had gotten a chance to grab me, then maybe I wouldn't be here today talking to you. But how grateful I am to God, who orchestrated my life and gave me a warrior to raise me. When we look at people in the world who are doing crazy stuff, the job of the church is not to sit back and go look at them heathens. Some of them even come to church and we tell everybody else good morning during the greeting session, and we greet around them. Because, you know, they're not saved. The little girl, you can see her cleavage and the earring big on her lip, red like akipad, as we like to say. And right away we just, no, this is where they're supposed to come, just as they are. And when they come in, they must walk in and find God. And when they come in, they must look at us and they must see in us what they want. We go home and we grab them and we hug them, say, sweetheart, welcome to church. Well, how did you get here? Somebody invite you, we're glad you came. And where you sit down and put them to sit. And when church finish and we greeting, we make sure they get a patty and a box juice too. We don't cut them out and circle around them. That is what the church is here for. We are not condoning or applauding sin, but we are grateful that we hang out a banner. We put up a sign that says, come inside. There is life on the inside. When they come in, they must find life. We say, come inside. There is rescue for your soul. When they come in, they must find rescuers. We say, come inside. We have something better than what you have. Yes. They cannot come in and find prejudice.
Yes.
I'm not saying anything wacky. You know without question I'm speaking the truth. Yes. And I'm praying that if anybody is guilty, I'm praying the word upset you enough where you repent and ask God to fix you. Because we have a great responsibility ahead of us. I've shared this so many times. A young lady, my best friend, she's at my sister in Jamaica. She came to our church. We were night and day. I'll never forget the night she got saved. Coming from a party, we were at National Hero Circle. Bishop Fedlin Beeson was in the pulpit preaching like a madman. And anybody who's ever heard him preach, you know that he just crazy. And she coming from a party. And God saved her right there. She came to church. And don't ask me why the child was drawn to me. I'm like, Lord, for crying out loud. Why is this girl following behind me? And so I became the person that she latched onto. And one of the members of my church told me, she said, you don't need to be close to her. You are too holy to associate with somebody like that. Did you just hear me say we preach her out of sin? Because you see, when she came in, I'm Sister Sanctimonious. Here, not pressed, not even a little Vaseline on my lip. Sweetly said, you know, the poster child for the Church of God. The picture of what Christianity ought to be. Dressed down to my ankle. You're not careful, I'll go to sleep in my hat because I'm that saved. And on the other hand, she was coming from the streets. Everything up here funny. And they told me that I was too holy to be close to her. And I didn't know what to do because these are my seniors who were telling me this. And I went to her and I told her, can I be honest? I said to her, and I thank God for maturity. Now you all understand why I get so crazy in my class. I am glad that God helped me to grow up in Him, where I knew Him more than I know church. Where who God is and His principles mean more to me than what my church teaches. I'm not telling anybody to go wreak havoc in your church. But when the teachings, when our cultural practices become a stumbling block to the truth of the gospel, then we need to change something. And it's not the gospel we have to change. Every denomination must have rules. Listen to me, good mystery. I'm not giving any trouble. I'm too close. And I have to come. Every church has their governing rules, and if you decide to be a member of that body, you are bound by scripture to submit to leadership over you. Listen to me with your understanding. But when we get too big for ourselves and we begin to implement our ideas as superior to the words of God, something has to give.
Yes, and it's not the word.
Something, so you don't come in here half naked and crazy and go, well, Sister Jennifer said be free. I don't mean that kind of free. Cover yourself and come to church and behave yourself like you're a proper Christian. I pulled her aside, Evangelist Rob, and I said to her, I can't be friends with you anymore. And she said, why? I said, because they tell me that I am too holy. I said that, and tears. And I changed my mind. I'm like, oh no, this is not going to work. Long and short of the matter, today she's married to a minister preaching this gospel harder than I do. I made up my mind, I am not cutting her loose, and oh God, they gave me a hard time. They gave me a hard time. You're compromising your testimony just because I befriended a sister that God brought into the house, and he chose to make me the nurse who was to nurture her to maturity. She didn't look like me, she didn't sound like me, she did things and have gone places I can't even dream about. But God knows we stayed together. And when I was at her wedding, and today she preaches this gospel like her life depends on it. So when we declare that in this house, you will find refuge in this house, you will find peace in this house, you will find deliverance in this house, you will find joy when you declare this is what Christianity looks like. When we declare this is what salvation looks like, when they come in, they must find what we advertise. We cannot be guilty of false advertising. Anything we advertise, we must make sure we have it in stock. We are seeing before our eyes a generation that is growing up, the emergence of a generation that is socially eloquent, and they are religiously aware. They can rattle off, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. They can rattle it off in a second. But there is no experiential knowledge of who God is. And there is a little desire to want to experience him. It is a generation being raised to glorify and celebrate the power of man and the accomplishments of man. It is a generation that is being raised who will verbally acknowledge the concept and will enter politely into a religious debate, but who will completely refuse to acknowledge God as his ruler and will make every effort to exclude God from anything he or she does. It is a generation that is being taught that they don't need God. With everything that you have accomplished, you are a God yourself. It is a generation that is growing up under the idea that like they're doing football, they're a free agent. You're a master of your own destiny. You determine what you want to do, anything you're big and bad enough to do. It is a generation in whose eyes the teaching of the majesty and the sovereignty of God is nothing more than another cute story. And to replace God, the superstars of Hollywood, and I'm so glad we have so many young people in this house today. The superstars of Hollywood are being presented. Let me ask you this. And it's not because I'm over 50 and I might be miserable, as some young people like to tell me. They say 50-year-old and you're just old and miserable. So no, it's not because I'm over 50. I'm not old and I'm not miserable. Thank you, Pastor. He said just start. Say, I love him, listen. Listen. Help me to understand this. What kind of life or satisfaction or accomplishment can you as a young person think you have attained when you have all the money you can handle and the only thing you know to do is to drink and get arrested, and that is what gives you credits among your friends? Look at the young people who are being raised up today as the standard for the generations to follow. What possesses a young girl of 21 or 22 to strip herself naked, getting a wrecking ball, swinging up and down, and that made you famous? You look at the news the other day, Justin Bieber, who's supposed to be the idol for every young man. For him, sitting on top of his vehicle, waving to fans being released from prison. And these are the things that's making them famous. It's like the more bizarre your behavior, the news media jumps all over it. So when you behave like you have no value and no respect for yourself, your album sells 10 times faster. Something is wrong with the society in which we live. When it is cool to go to prison and you enjoy having the fact that your mugshot is in the news because this gives you cred. Something is wrong with that. When it is okay to walk naked and the more of your flesh that you bear is the more the news applaud you and tell you, oh, you go. Every time somebody comes out of the closet and declare, I don't even know what that means, and declare I am gay, the whole world have to stop and we have to keep a celebration. And somebody go, high five, I'm proud of you. I couldn't care less about your sexual orientation. Go marry a tree if you want to. It is not going to upset. Why should it upset my breakfast or my dinner? I am sick and tired of it, where everything is being glorified and the name of God is being kept silent. I don't care. Go marry your car if you want to. I won't do the ceremony. I won't attend, and it's not going to change my life. We are living in an age.
Yes, come on, tell it.
Why are these things 3, 4, 5 day news? Somebody cheating with somebody else, that's all you can.
Drama, that's all they know.
Headline news. Are we really that hard up for news? Bottom line is, we are living in a world where man's agenda is being pushed because he wants it to supersede the agenda of God. The plan of hell, and the enemy has more agents than he knows what to do with. And he's pushing this agenda. We go all the way back to Genesis. That's what he said when he began to undermine the authority of God. He said to Eve, I'm not telling you that God did not say you must eat from the tree. But is that exactly what he said? And he said, you're not exactly going to die. But God knows you will become like God. And from then, man is on this quest, thinking you can be God. You cannot be a God. There is no magic cream. You don't have enough money. It is appointed unto man once to die. Everybody that is born, you are guaranteed 70 years. And God said, if by virtue of strength you go over 70. So when you get to 70, you reach your limit. When you get to 71, you tell him, thank you for Porter. There is not an individual rich enough to completely erase the fact that we are born to die. There is nothing that can change the reality that from the minute we were born, we started dying. There is nothing that can change that fact. As alive we all are on death row. We are going to get to that place. None of us want to get there early. But let me speak for me. I don't want to get there anytime soon. I want a long old life. I want to grow old with that fella right there and sit down on a porch somewhere in a swing and look at squirrels and rock. When we get up, he hold on to me, I hold on to him, and we hobble into the house. I want to live a long life. But I live every day as if it were my last. Because I don't know when he will choose to call me. I live every day, so there is nothing that we can do to change. But in the midst of all this mess, like about now we are saying, Sister Jennifer, Lord, that sounds so deep and dismal. But let me give you the bad part first. You know, like they ask what you want first, the good news or the bad news. You got the... But in the midst of all of this mess, A.W. Tozer said, there is yet a remnant. There is yet a people who are not satisfied with just church. He said there is yet a young person, there is yet a young man, there is yet a young woman who will be bold enough to look in the face of a heathen king and said, I know politically you have the power to take my life if you want it, but if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die a Christian. You're gonna say, King, I respect your position, but long before you plundered my country and brought me here, you should have read my resume. Somewhere in there you would have read that I am a child of God, I am a worshiper of the Most High God. Somewhere in there somebody would have told you that the all that comes was large and growing every day, because I was always sinning and never tried to pay. But then I looked ahead and I saw hell, and I went unto the keeper and I settled it. If you had taken the time to read my today you would understand that I made a vow and I can't take it back. You would understand that I've given him my life and I am not about to turn back. You would understand I've come too far and I'm too close now to heaven. If you took the time to ask anybody about me, you would know that it's too late now. In the midst of the spiritual chaos and catastrophe, there is yet a remnant. There are still those who know that there has to be more, and they are seeking. We have a responsibility as Christians to expose God. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but blame it on my limited vocabulary. We have a responsibility to take the dressing and the fluff and the church rituals off of God. Leave him wide open. So when anybody walk in, they bump into God before they see the speaker. Ah, Jesus. When they walk in, they must know this is holy ground. They must know that there's something different about the atmosphere. And it is not because of who the speaker is. It's not because of your PA system. It's not because of who the deacon board is. But it's because there's a presence of God in his house. It must be because God lives here. When we begin, this could be troublesome, but it's too late now. When we begin ignoring flesh and its antics, when we start coming in here profiling like we're superstars, let me put me out there. When I come to preach and then suddenly they tell me that I'm superstar, and when I'm traveling to preach, you know, Sister Jennifer, you don't need to walk across the street. Somebody needs to send a car to pick you up. By the time you turn at the light, I'm across the street. And when I come and I'm standing at the door because, you know, the pastor, the overseer need to come out and greet me. And before I come in, you know, and express his gratitude and his glee. You know what you need to do? Leave me standing right out there. You need to close that door and come in here and worship like you didn't see me standing out there. When we begin ignoring pampered flesh, man will begin to realize that our eyes are open and nobody came in here to worship you. I don't care if your tithe alone can pay the bills of this church. You are not doing God any favor. You are operating out of obedience to God. What you are doing is showing that you love and obey God and procuring your own blessing. You're not doing anybody in here a favor. I don't care how well you sing, and believe me, you fellas can sing, but you're not doing anybody a favor. God has blessed you with a gift, and out of gratitude to God, you come in his house and declare, Lord, I was glad when somebody said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. And now that I'm here, I've come to give you worship. I've come to give you praise. I have come to exalt you. We must begin to ignore flesh. And you know what is funny? As a preacher, I get in trouble. You know what is funny? When I sit in church and it's not so much the preachers. It is the handlers I watch. And I laugh, you know. And they're falling over each other and they're fluffing the little towel. And every 2 seconds, are you okay, evangelist? and it's all, and they're tucking your hair. It's a nice little show. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, Lord, please don't make me laugh out loud. Lord, please keep my face steady. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Go to a community theater if you want to put on a production. When somebody walks in church, listen to me and hear me good. When somebody walks in church on the verge of suicide, when a woman walks in with a bottle of pills in her pocketbook and she's saying to God, I'm going to church today just because, but I'm going to end it today. She needs to walk in and find a God that will turn around every part of hell. No, there must be enough God in the house for her to take the pills out of her pocketbook and come throw it down on the altar have to get flesh under control. It's about time we expose God. We are overexposed. They see us enough. Can we just melt into the background and declare there is a God in Zion?
Yes. Put him first.
There must be a generation. There must be a people. And I'm speaking to you as a church, whatever denomination, congregation you're from. And I'm speaking to you as individuals. You have a responsibility in your life, conduct, and worship to expose God.
Yeah.
People must forget your name,
Yeah.
but they must not forget when they met you, they saw God.
Yes. Yes.
They must forget the gift you gave them at Christmas. They must forget that you are a super, but they must not forget that when they encountered you, their lives were changed. Not because you gave them money, not because you gave them clothes, but because they encountered God when they met you. We have to. The world, whether we like it or not, is asking, who is this God whom you say can do all these wonderful things? And the world has a right to ask. We need to stop covering our embarrassment because we cannot respond with indignation and talking about these heathens questioning God. They're not questioning God. They are searching. And we claim we know him. So they are coming to us to get an introduction to him. But so many times when they come, they realize that we don't know him. We know church. We know who sit down in my seat last week. Like you have a receipt for the bench. We know who moderate second Sunday when it was my turn. We know all of these little idiotic things. But they are saying to us, my soul is in agony. Unless somebody help me, I cannot make it another day. Show me your God. Who is this God you say you have that can heal your body? Who is this God you say you have that can erase all the wrong things I have done? Who is this God you say you have that can make me forgive the person that raped me? Who is this God you say you have who is so full of power that can make me get past my abandonment? Who is this God you say you have that can make me forget the husband, forgive the husband that cheated on me? Who is this God you say you have who can be a father because mine abandoned me? Who is this God you have who can give me peace? It's a long time since I know what peace felt like. Somebody, who is this God? And too often we send them away with oil on their foreheads, a pamphlet in their hand, some rhetoric about our church programs, and their hearts still broadened and souls still destined for hell.
Yeah.
But a fellow before us asked that question to 3 Hebrew boys, and I'm going to run here. We're going to run here. A fellow before us asked that question. Daniel, I love the book of Daniel. Absolutely love it.
Yes.
Daniel, a fast-hitting story. People taken into captivity. And listen to the king's instructions. He said, I want you to pick me out some young men from the captivity. I don't want the puny ones. Pick me the ones who are intelligent.
Yes.
Pick me the ones who are strong. I want to groom them to serve. Hell has a plan, you know. The world, the network of the world is tight. It is very skillfully crafted. Nothing is done in the world without an agenda.
Yes.
For every one of our lives, every temptation, everything that is thrown before you, hell already has an end result inside. It's not accidental. You are targeted. The king didn't just, he said, bring me the most intelligent ones. Bring me the ones that are strong and excellent and well spoken. Bring me the ones that are influential and impressive. And when they came, first order of business, changed their names. It's almost like what is it? Detox, that's not the word I'm looking for. They are now trying to completely change them. So change their names. Take away the Hebrew names that testify to who their God is, and give them Babylonish names that will adore the deities, the gods of Babylon. And then he said, change their diet. So go ahead now and give them food from my table. The things I've already offered to my God. And yes, you start feeding them that. So not only do they have Babylonian names that now reflect the deities, the gods of Babylon. Know that the God of Babylon has blessed the food. Now you give them that food. But when they came in Daniel in chapter 1 and verse 8, the Bible said Daniel purposed in his heart. In other words, he made up his mind. Can I tell you what blessed me, Evangelist Rob? He did not worry about, he didn't ask God, where were you when they take me prisoner? No. He was so given to God that he understood even in Babylonian captivity, God was still in control. He was yet a child of God. We spend our time demanding God to give us perfect lives. And when our lives are not perfect, we find it hard to honor him.
Yes.
Daniel was in captivity. Daniel did not go asking God, why did you let this happen? When they came with the menu, he said, look, I'm not trying to give trouble. I respect that you have a job to do, but we don't eat that. I'm a Christian. A little fellow one day said to me, listen to the foolishness. Listen to the foolishness. I will come to church with you if you come to the club with me. I said, brother man, come here. I said, let me see if I can break this down for you. I said, there is nothing you and your club have that I want or need. But the God I have, you dare not live without him, and you dare not die without him. So I said, no, I know it's no barter. You need God. I don't need your club. Anything else? If you love me, you will sleep with me. And your finger's still empty. No. If you love me, then you will respect me. And not put me in a position to compromise my integrity.
Yes.
They came to Daniel. Daniel said, we don't eat that. Did you hear me say the boys were in captivity? They're not going home, They were in captivity. And not once did he question God. So why did you allow it? He said, we don't eat that. And the man said, but I cannot do this. If by the end of the time now you look skinny, the king is going to kill me. He's going to think I didn't do right. Daniel said, we got that covered too. He said, give us 10 days. And he said, you just give us vegetable and water and fruits. And if after 10 days we don't look good, then we'll eat your food. But if after 10 days we look okay. And the Bible said after 10 days, and they came in and looked at them. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they look better than everybody that eat king's meat. Ah, God, 1 for God, 0 for Babylon. It doesn't matter where you find yourself, your God will protect you. It does not matter what hell tries. Hold your ground and hold your testimony. Let hell know I am a child of God. Yes, boy, you look good, but my vessel is the temple of the Holy Ghost. I will not lay down with you. Yes, girl, you're cute and look nice, but I am a son of God. I will not. You must make a decision. We have to expose God. And when you read the life of Daniel, the king went in and had his dream and then called his little psychics. And said, tell me the dream. And the king said, all this time you've been lying to me. The king said, no, this thing is so rough. I'm not going to tell you what I dream. I want you to tell me the dream. and then tell me the interpretation. All this time you're on the payroll claiming that you are psychic and you can see, so you tell me what's going on. And when they couldn't, he said every wise man must be killed, and Daniel was on the list. Daniel said to Hatak as he was running to kill them, he said, what is it? He said, we have to kill everybody. He said, calm down, don't kill them today. He said to the king, he said, king, don't kill everybody today. Give me 3 days. Give me 3 days. Let me go talk to the God who is God on the mountain. Let me go talk to the God who is in the valley. He is still God. Let me go talk to the God that sits high and looks low. Let me go talk to the creator and the sustainer of the universe. Let me go talk to the I am that I am. Let me go talk to the Jehovah Jireh. Let me go talk to the Imkadesh. Let me go talk to Shalom, who is our peace. Let me go talk to the conqueror. After 3 days, Daniel went into the king. Said, king, I have an interpretation. He said, Daniel, were you able to figure it out? Logs. Daniel said, king, not me. Hear how he put it. He said, there is a God in heaven. He says, not me. There is a God, Sister Dion, in heaven. And he didn't stop there, you know. He said he changes the times and the seasons. He raises up kings and he brings down kings. And everything pertaining to man is wide open before him. He said that God is the one that gave me the interpretation. Turn the place upside down. We have to expose him. So let me come down now to our text. Hell will not stop trying. Listen to me carefully. Hell will not stop trying to compromise the integrity of God. And since he cannot go back to heaven, he does it through the church. Hell will not stop trying to undermine and make God a mockery. And he uses us. And somebody come and tell me, Sister Jennifer, Sister Rob said. I didn't go to Sister Rob, you know. But the next time now she see me, good morning, morning. And before you know it, it trickles down. Sister is going to say to me, why didn't you talk to her, my dear? And I tell you the mess I just heard. And then when you see somebody 2 days down the road, you know I was over. Before you know it. And guess what is sad? Not one word of it is true. And before you know it, within the camp, the medical team, the military team, those of you in the military, you know, you count on each other to watch your back. So before you know it, a sniper's bullet, thank you very much. See, now they're learning my routine. This is not good. Thank you, man. Thank you very kindly. I'm still a member of Ebenezer, though. Before you know it, the medical team, the surgeon is looking around for the nurse to hand the scalpel. They're not there. You're out on the battlefield and the person to protect your back left you open. And a sniper's bullet took you up. The individual who's supposed to be there to bear you up is gone, all because of a well-placed lie. So the enemy isn't telling us God is not real. He's not even trying to stop us coming to church. As long as we come in and embrace religion instead of relationship. As long as we come in and there's no worship. As long as we can still keep malice and shout hallelujah and nobody knows. And he keeps us in this place. Hell is still determined to tear down the plan of God. We now have to declare today, regardless of what church you go to, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I will expose God to a world that needs him. So hell did not give up, Bishop. And so next thing you know, King get up one day. And man who thinks he has arrived, again, look at Hollywood, and believe me, I'm not jealous. You look at all these superstars with all this money. They do the most ridiculous things. How many $1 million cars can one person drive? And you know what I find funny? You know what I find funny? They're the ones who come on these infomercials. There are children that tonight will not eat. Won't you give You have 5 cars in your garage, $2 million each. You know how many children, if you sell one, that can feed? But then, and there are dogs that need to be rescued. Won't you open your heart and take one of them in? And I'm saying to myself, really? Really? Bible cannot lie. The rich man has one desire, to get richer. Can never be satisfied. For a man or a woman without God, there is never enough. It does not matter what they get. It is never enough. And these are the people we are looking at. These are who the world is holding up to us to be our example. This is what even within the church our young people are gravitating to. So many of our little girls just want to be Miss Beyonce. No, you don't come in here and wiggle like that. It don't work in this church. Everybody, no, it doesn't work in here. You cover yourself and all them kind of gyration and foolishness. It doesn't work in here. Thank you, please. And it doesn't work out on the street either. You don't go on the road looking like that. You are a vessel. You are a vessel. I'm not a jewelry person. Not messing with anybody, just me. But I was in Tortola. My husband was with me. And I was preaching there. And we were, one day, the church, they thought I preached too hard the night before. They thought I was going to die. So they told me Wednesday, we don't want to see you in the daytime at all. You need to just take the day and go relax. So they banished us and we went to Virgin Gorda. And Pastor Ricketts was giving us a tour. And I'm walking past this little shack, jewelry shack, and we walked in. And the pastor said to me, "Oh my God, what a word last night." I'm like, he said, "Oh, I was watching you on the TV." Of course, they aired it over the island. Yeah. And of course, he's Baptist. Who said they're Baptist? He said he's Baptist, and I'm looking at him. He said, "Don't worry, I'm Baptist-costal." He said, "I'm Baptist, but I love the pen." But long and short of the matter, he picked up a piece of jewelry made from shell. And he proceeded he said, "I'm giving this to you." And I opened my mouth to say to him, "I don't do jewelry." And I stopped. He said, "You know why I'm giving this to you?" He said, "Do you know what it is?" I said, "It looks like a jar. It's like a pot." He said, "It's a vessel. And I'm giving this to you to remind." He said, "I'm giving this to you to remind you that you are a vessel that carries Jesus Christ." And he tied it around my neck. And I held on to the thing. I don't even know if I said thank you. It floored me. I wasn't expecting that. And it is sitting this day in my jewelry. It's the one I will never part with it. He said, "I'm giving this to you. It's a vessel. I picked this piece deliberately. Never forget that you're a vessel and you carry Jesus." So it doesn't matter where I am. I don't have to wear it. His words are in my ears. You are a vessel. You are meant to show Christ to the world. Can I talk to beautiful young women? You don't need to be half naked to be attractive. You are a vessel crowned by the Holy Ghost. And within you, you carry the power and the authority of Jesus Christ. And your friends in college must know that. Your classmates must know that. Your co-workers must know that. They must know there are some things you don't do. As a married man, your co-workers, they can hang out with 5, 10, 15 women. They must know that your ring means something more than a piece of jewelry. They must know I am married and I honor my wife and my vows. As a married woman, you don't flirt with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Even if your husband is a long time, he don't tell you you're cute. You are a vessel. You wear a ring because you have made a vow. And you respect your vow and honor your husband so that the name of Christ is not scandalized. We have a responsibility. We have a responsibility. Lord. So let me come to this now. Nebuchadnezzar, because he could never be satisfied, he made an image, according to the calculations, 90 feet high. 9 feet wide. And he said, he called everybody together. Let me tell you quickly before I go. Sister Jennifer, how are we going to expose God? We're going to have to start recognizing and declaring him as absolute in power. He's absolute and flawless in his administrative skills. He's absolute and he's flawless in his leadership and his management abilities. He is absolute and he's flawless in his power to save. We are going to declare him to the world that there is a God who is powerful. There is none like him. The king made the idol. Look at what God did. He's absolute in his power. He is absolute. He is flawless. He is free from any imperfection or restraints. There is nobody to challenge God. But when we live mediocre lives, we bring that truth into question. We must stand flat-footed and behave like we know. I did not make a mistake when I embraced God. There is none like him. If God can do it, you can't do it for me either. There is no limit to his power. We look in creation. Which scientists? Who on earth, which evolutionist could have pulled this universe together? I know for those of you who have to drive in the snow, you're like, Lord have mercy, enough now. Because I don't drive, I just stay there and look at it. I'm like, oh, that is so pretty. I'm having a field day. But I'm like, but look, didn't matter what you had planned. God, the controller of the universe, said, I feel like settling some snow. And salt. And it doesn't matter who had case in court, judge can't come out his house. It doesn't matter who was planning on going on vacation, the plane not flying, and you can rant and rave all you want. No, the sovereign God, who is in control of the universe, decided to visit his creation and send some snow. Picture fit all you want, chant all you want, sprinkle oil all you want. When God says snow, it's gonna snow. Call your psychic, or you won't tell me your psychic didn't see that coming. It's about time you change leadership. You need a God with real power. He's absolute. The validation of his claims can be seen in his creation. Who he is irrefutable. And this morning, this lady sister who read this scripture, where is she? I'm like, Lord, you are just too good. Isaiah 40, where she read from, she stopped at verse 11. But listen to verse 12. Listen to verse 12. He said, who hath measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with the span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance? Hear the question he asks. Who hath directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor? Who taught him how to put this world together? He said, with whom did this God to counsel? Who instructed him? Who was it that taught him the paths of judgment? Who told him what color to paint the rainbows? Who told him where to hang the clouds? Who told him what shape to give to the stars? He said, are you crazy? He said, all of humanity is like but a drop in a bucket. And man who have no sense, he goes out into the wilderness and cut down a sturdy tree, and he finds somebody who is good at craft, and they craft out a God, and they settle it with chains, and they worship it. He said, but that is no God. He said, the God of heaven blows on it. He said, have you not heard? Have you not known that the sovereign eternal God, there is no searching for his understanding? He said, nobody can compare to him. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundation? It is this God that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are just at his feet. Oh, she picked it up this morning. I'm like, you go, God. Hear what he said. He said the inhabitants of the earth are like grasshoppers. So when you come in here, you no, you're grasshopper. is God's house. You're not a superstar. Hear what he said. Oh God. That there are grasshoppers that stretches out the heavens as a curtain, and he spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. He said, it is this God that bringeth princes to nothing. He maketh the judges of the earth as vanity. Yea, they shall not be planted. Yea, they shall not be sown. And then he down to 25. Hear what he said. To whom then will you liken this cup?
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Pick your favorite Hollywood cup. To whom then? Who can't act in a movie until they study script? You see people on TV and they're going on, you notice the eyes. If somebody coming to shoot them, they can't look at the eyes on the teleprompter. If there is no teleprompter, there is no show. We look at all these super fashion models and oh God, we want to be like them. There are 15 people that take 3 hours to make them up, to look at what we see. So to whom then? As wonderful as my husband is, to whom then will I compare this cup? To whom then? Glory to God. To whom then will you liken me? Or shall I be equal? Said the Holy One. If you are not saved and you think there is no God, bring your best God now and compare him to this. Whatever or whoever you worship instead of God, can they wake you up from your sleep? Can they give you peace when your heart is troubled? Whoever or whatever it is, let them stop the snow. Whoever or whatever it is, let them take sickness from your body. Whoever or whatever it is, let them fix a broken home. They cannot. They cannot. God said, lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might, for that he is strong in power, not one faileth. You know what he said? He knows the number of the stars in the skies, and by his power he holds them in place. Not one of them falls out of the sky accidentally. The sovereign God reigns and super reigns. And in 28, they taught us this in school. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait, they that worship, they that trust in, they that hold to God, shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. He is absolute in his power. Listen to Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar said, you're not bowing down to my 90-foot statue. So he said, well, maybe you didn't understand. Let me give you a second chance. What I said was, I guess he thought it was an accent thing. No. We got it. We heard it the first time. And we're not debating this. Say, King, we're not going to bow. And listen to what they said. They were so sure, Sister Maxine, of his absolute power. They said, if God decides to, he will rescue us from you. And even if he doesn't choose to, we are yet his. And one way or the other, alive or dead, he will deliver us from your hand. But one thing we're going to tell you, we will not bow, because we already have it settled. There is no one but God. We already have it settled. There is no one but him. He's absolute in his power. He's flawless. He's absolute in his administrative skills. When Nebuchadnezzar built the statue, look at what God did. God wasn't interested in just Nebuchadnezzar. The entire nation, Sandy, came out, So it's not just one person saw what happened, so they could go change it and say maybe it's not true. The entire nation.
That is God.
You talk about a proper administrator, somebody who knows what they're doing. He's orchestrated the thing perfect.
Yes.
Some of the things that you are going through and you think are so hateful,
Yeah.
before you throw in the towel, find out from God, what are you up to?
Yes, Lord. Yes, Father.
Some things that seem to blindside you, and the enemy is saying, see, I told you your God don't care. Before you throw in the towel, before you find out from him, now I know I'm serving you. And so what are you up to? And I guarantee you, if you be still long enough, you are going to know that he's God. If you be still long enough, let nobody talk you out of. God orchestrated the thing. The entire Babylonian nation was present. And when everybody bowed down, is it three little heads?
Yeah, just three.
And as we said from the get-go, the enemy is always watching the church. Somebody came to the king. Now with millions of people, you're going to see three little rinky-dink fellows way over in the corner. And they came and they said to the king, them Hebrews, the ones you put in position, they really don't care for you. You know, the king said, is it true? And look at what God did. Lord of mercy.
Yes, Lord.
Well, listen to the question the king asked. And that is the question the world is asking today. The king said, I'm going to give you another chance. And when the music starts, you're going to do as you're told. If not, you're going into the furnace. And listen to the question. And who is that God that is going to deliver you out of my hands? Nebuchadnezzar knew of the multiplicity of gods in Babylon. Not one of them could do it.
Not one.
He knew the limitation of the gods he claimed he served. He knew that there is nobody that can take anybody out of his fire. So he said, who is this God? And the boys didn't argue. They said, we're not getting into a religious debate. He said, you go ahead and let God speak for himself. And as a king, we're not bowing. It's about time the church gets some people upset. It's about time hell get upset at our worship. We are too accommodating. No, we need to open our mouth and let hell know. Let the storm rage. We will yet worship. Tear me down all you want. I will yet magnify. Criticize me all you want. I'm going to hold my ground. Listen, we are not debating the issue. And the king got angry and not only threw them in, he said, make it 7 times hotter. Usually when they throw people in the fire, they took off their outer clothes. He said, no. Don't even hesitate. Don't even give them the courtesy. He called his strong men. The fire was so hot. The heat killed the throwers.
Oh, my God.
The whole purpose of God allowing these boys to be taken captive was so he could be magnified in Babylon. It was not about Daniel. It was not about his friends. It was about God being magnified in Babylon. And the boys did not fail him. What you are going through, I know the world tells us that it's all about us. No, some things are really not about you. You are merely the vessel God is using to magnify himself in a creation which is turning its back on him. It's not about you. Everything doesn't have to be about us. Bible said, I'm 5 minutes past my time. The Bible says that when the king threw them in, he now going to look as to go, dare you embarrass me at my own celebration, embarrass me in front of my princes and whatever. I need everybody. I'm using you as an example. He went and he looked at him. He said, now come here. He said, now come here. He said, come. Did we not put 3 men in this fire? And they say, yes, sir. He said, but come here. What do you see? 4. How come I see 4? And he said, not only do I see 4, but they are loosed. And they are walking around. What you are going through, you should be home now in a bed of depression. But in spite of the flames, look at you. You are in the house of God and you are worshiping. He said, I because 3 in, and I see 4. And he said, they are just walking up and down like Like they're at the beach, and he said, but there's something about the fourth one. I didn't put him in there. He said something about him. He looks like the very Son of God. And then the man declared, he said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out of the fire. And in one day it was turned around. He said, there is no God in the world that can deliver after this sort. He said, I declare today that there is no God like the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, because he sent his angels and made me look like a fool. He sent his angels and protected them, that my power had no power over them, and changed my own word. He said, this alone is God. He is flawless in his administration. You may be going through some rough patches, but he knows what he's doing. Fasten your seatbelt and settle down. Ask the flight attendant for another glass of juice. Fasten your seatbelt. You must get to your destination, and you're going to land the way God intends for you to land. Let me quickly tell you, not only is he absolute in his administration, but he's absolute. He's flawless.
Glory.
In his management and his leadership skills, he has given us this. He did not leave us to fend for ourselves. Everything you want for life and godliness, it's in here. Every promise for your life, you can trust it, you can stand on it. This is what kept the three boys grounded. The God that they knew. He did not just give us this beautiful universe and leave us, but he gave us. He's absolutely flawless. The God we present to you, the God we want you to see, is a God who is not just flawless in his management skills, in that he gives us the word of God. He gives us 4 seasons. He gives us bread when we are hungry. He gives us peace in our midnight. He gives us joy when the world would want to kill us. He makes sense out of chaos. He handles our lives. He orchestrates our lives. He changes the times and the seasons. He has plans for our lives. The last thing I want to tell you, he's flawless in his power to save. If you can find something in your life that is not God, that can make your life better, then I would love to know what it is. There is not enough liquor for you to drink to fix your soul. I don't care how many times you change boyfriends, but I do care. You don't need to be changing boyfriends like you're changing your clothes. But this is what the world tells you. When you go to the nicest clubs and you wear the nicest clothes, one pair of shoes is $1,000 to feel good about yourself. Most expensive makeup and jewelry and body piercings and different things. And I'm not being critical. You have to ask yourself the question, why am I doing these things? Whenever my young people show up and you know, with a new thingy that I've never seen before, I'm like, my question is, now what does that do for you? And it's like, nothing really. So I said, well, why did you do it? You have to have, when you are going through all these changes, then you are looking for something. You are looking for something. This week, Harry is just the best thing. And oh God, and next week, where's Harry? Oh God, please, he tripping. Whatever. Suddenly, and Susie and you know, done been with that. How many times must you go to sleep drunk, hoping that the pain will be numbed, or you wake up in the morning still feeling like you want to end it all? How many times must you go to sleep and wake up not even knowing the name of the person next to you? And when I say you, I'm not talking to you here in church. This is what this is the life the world glorifies. How many relationships can you juggle at the same time? How many lives can you tell? How many sleepless nights must you have? How many religions are you going to try? How many gurus are you going to go to? How many potions are you going to drink? all the nonsense that people go through. My question is why? And if you are in this house today and you have never done any of those things, then we are grateful. And we don't want you to go there. And the only way you're not going to go there is if you have God in your life. I don't know what you have tried in your life. If you haven't tried God yet, I am putting everything I know and have on the line. And I'm saying to you, you try this God. I guarantee you he will never fail you. We present you a God who is on his throne. We present you a God who is high above everything else. Everything on this earth is subject to the authority of God. Every other God was made by somebody. This God that Daniel produced in Babylon is self-existent. He has no beginning. He has no end. He is God. He fills all things. We give you this majestic God. He reigns and he rules. He is still the potter and the master designer. He is the God who fills all things. He is God at the center. He is the God at the end of all things. He is the sovereign God, and there is none other. It does not matter what hell gives you. Everything else in this life has a limit. Could you stand in his presence this afternoon? There is no one. No one. And unless the church begins to show forth this God in his absolute power. And so the question we ask as we get ready to make the altar call, do we really know him as absolute and flawless in his power? Do we really believe that he's in control of everything? Especially for those of us who are church, I wish I could tell you that salvation guarantees us a free ride, a life without trouble. It's like the minute you get saved, trouble move next door. But with everything that he brings your way, long before you get there, he's already made a way for you to come out of it. Everything he allows in your life has purpose. Every experience you have been through, whether you want to admit it or not, it has made you a better person. The mistakes you made then, because of what you have been through, some things the enemy will try now. It's like you look at him and you go, really? Seriously? You forget I was there and God stomped you down and brought me? Really? Really? Some of the little things that he brings, and we don't take it for granted and get arrogant. But you're like, really, dude? The things that you can now handle. Sometimes you find yourself surprising yourself. Because what is supposed to kill you, somebody walk up to you and tell you, I'm going to jump off a bridge, and you hear yourself saying, oh no, no, God will bring you out. And you woke up this morning, feeling like you can't make it to 10 o'clock. But by noon, you're pulling somebody else from the brink of destruction. Why? Because the absolute power of God governs your life. And whatever it is you're going through, you have to hold fast. Hold your ground. You can't backpedal now. You have to know him as absolute and flawless in his administrative skills. The things that happen in your life is not accidental. Sometimes if you pause and look at the number of lives touched because you survived what you went through. People are looking at you and going, they'll say to you, I remember so many things you don't even remember. But because of how you held up under it and came through, somebody chose, I can live another day because I saw what he did for my sister. We have to know him like that. And for those who are not, so for the church, make up our minds today. I'm not going to half step. Listen to me. Any plate you took from the king's table, you're giving it back today. Anything that you are tempted to compromise with because you might be in Babylon. And God knows sometimes the things that hit us, we may as well be in captivity. But right where you are, God is there. He is there. That is his promise and he cannot lie. Whatever it is, hold your ground because it is up. Who would have thought 3 little fellas, and because of them an entire nation was exposed to the sovereign God? Mercy. Lives have changed. And then Darius after Nebuchadnezzar, how many generations down the road? In chapter 3, Daniel was still a young man. When we find him in chapter 6 with the lions, then he was all of 93 years old. And God did the same thing again. This time Darius come running down to the king. Daniel, was your God able to keep you? Oh, King, calm down. Don't panic. Yes, he kept me. He came out of the lion's den and the decree was made. As of this day, let the God of Daniel be the only God that is worshipped. Anybody worship any other God, I shall kill them. Anywhere God plants you, he has purpose. So stop worrying about when you're getting out and bloom where God has planted you. An entire nation, maybe your husband, maybe your wife, maybe your children, somebody's breakthrough is dependent on you being true to God right where you find yourself today. So for every Christian, it's too soon to give up now. You're telling yourself today, there is no one like you and I'm not going anywhere. No. Somebody gonna sing that song for me, right? For those who are not saved, you came in today. Listen to me. Time is shorter than you know. I'm not trying to shock anybody, but we have to be realistic. Between the months of December and January, I was personally touched by 7 deaths. One was family, the other 6 were, and of the 7, except for 2, everybody else were 50 and under. And nobody saw it coming. 1 minute they're breathing, next minute they're gone. And believe me, I had to pause and go, what? And they were just hitting like every week, bam, 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 bam. And you know the one thing that consoled me is that they all knew the Lord. I was able to hold on and I said, God, from a human standpoint, we're like, but they are so young. And I'm saying, but if you ask God, he will tell you, mission accomplished. They lived a full life. Their death didn't take God by surprise. If God didn't allow it, it couldn't happen. Don't know why tomorrow isn't promised to anybody. How long must you keep saying, I will serve God, but tomorrow? No. Tomorrow for some of us will begin today. Tomorrow isn't promised to anybody. Without question, man needs a God. I think it's Bertrand Russell, I think that's his name. Known atheist. Hear what he said? He said, every man must assume a God. He said, the man who has not assumed a God has not yet understood the meaning of life. Every man must assume a God. And every other God you will try will fail you because they are limited. Today we give you the God of heaven, sovereign, eternal, self-existent, unchangeable, unshakable, unmovable, powerful God. We give you God, creator and sustainer of the universe. We give you God, infinite and awesome, pure in his statutes, wise in his judgments. We give you God. He is the wisdom of the wise. We give you God. He is the one that gives power to the powerful. We give you God. He is the one that orchestrates wealth. We give you God. He holds the universe together. And if you don't know him, try him today. Who is this God? God Almighty. God all-powerful. God the banner over us. God who is always there. God the shepherd that leads. God the healer that preserves. We give you God. He is Jireh, who is the provider. We give you God. He is Adonai. We give you God. He is Shaddai. We give you God, who is all sufficient. We give you God, who is our righteousness. We give you God, who is our sanctifier. We give you eternal sovereign God. And if you don't know him today, we invite you to accept what he has given. You coming to God isn't doing him a favor. What we are asking today is that your spirit will be enlightened and you recognize the gift that has been offered and make this day the best day of your life. So if you came in and you do not know him, will you do yourself a favor and say to him today, I want you. Anybody came and you don't know the Lord, could I see your hand wherever you are? You are not yet saved. God bless you. As you raise it, you put it down. God bless you. As you raise those hands, you put them down. God bless you. Anybody else in this house? And I'm going to ask you to do something else. You have been in church before, so you know we do this. But please understand what I'm now saying to you. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feeling. If you do not want this God, if you are not ready, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I have to. Because we can't make you want him. But we want you to want him. And if today you know you want him, this is your time to move to this altar. We would love to pray for you. Even before we sing, I'm speaking now to those who raise their hands. You are saying, I know that I know I need him. I can't make it without him. This is your time to move as you walk to this altar. God bless you, my dear. God bless you. Where are our altar workers? Where are our altar? Thank you, please. God bless you, man. God bless you. Come, precious. Can you raise it? Yes.